welcome. Good afternoon, and thank you very much for choosing us. I think I will say, I will speak for my colleagues and I when I say that you have made a bold choice. And if you think that things are going badly, we are locking the door, so for the next hour, you will be here exclusively with us. So, they asked me to moderate this panel so that rather than having an Italian middle-aged man, they could have an English middle-aged man, because they wanted to have more of a European continental flavor, which is unfortunate as England are leaving, as you may have heard. But we've not left yet. So we are here with you in spirit. For how long, who knows? But at the moment, we certainly are. So why are we here today in Berlin? Some of you are being paid to be here, obviously. But what is the message that we would like, as a group, to give you about Italy today? And if you only remember one clear message from all the discussion, all the topics that we have, then the message that we are trying to convey very strongly to the international investment community is that Italy is very much open for business. Many people think of Italy as many different things, a strong, stable political system, but it's not just that. We are here to say that changes are being made and investment opportunities are here, and there has been really significant movement over the last few months by various Italian bodies in order to achieve that. And so what we have done today is we have gathered what can only be described as the best looking Italian panel all day, I think we can safely say. And what we have tried to do is we have tried to take the various elements that will make this investment opportunity a success, so you can hear directly from the people who are involved as to how that will happen. So starting, obviously, ladies first, as a representative of the Italian government, Italian Parliament, we have Alessandra Priante. We're very lucky to have her here, fresh after the elections. I didn't mean it like that. Now, come. From the Italian Hotel Association, we have our old friend, who I'm sure many of you know, Giorgio Pamucci, who has been a very loyal servant to the Italian Hotel Association, Italian hotel chains, and he is here to give us his understanding of how this will affect the Italian hotel system and his members. Then we have, of course, we have the money, ladies and gentlemen, which is never come to a panel without some cash. Is something that my mother always said to me, and our dear friend Marco has come here with a large bag of money, and he's just aching to spend it, ladies and gentlemen. And I'm just hoping that Marco will not be killed in the rush at the end of this session, but he's here to discuss that. So once we have the money, then of course we need to spend that money. We need to invest that money. And so we have Colla De Vito, who represents, I think, in many ways the opportunity today that will show that not only is the political system supportive, not only is the financial system supportive, but they also have the land and the opportunity. Colla is the chairman of the entity that owns the Italian railways, and he has come to share with us what the opportunities are and what they've been doing specifically to improve the infrastructure, which is very important. And then last, but very not least, we have Claudio, who is another representative of the government, who, of course, in Italy, as in every other country, are an absolutely key component. And he is going to tell us about the various streamlining operations that they are starting to allow people to, I think the way that you described it, to remove the red tape. Yeah, which, let's face it, is a very un-Italian thing to do and sits very deep. It will be painful, Claudio, I'm sure, but you are the man. You are the man for it. So, in case you're not excited enough, we have created a video to just show you very briefly Italy and the opportunities arrived. So let's show that video now before we dive straight in. I think a round of applause. The name of that video is Italy, We May Be Old, But Boy We Are Good. And all of those items that you saw, including the Colosseum, are available at very reasonable prices. See me afterwards, especially for our American friends. We can do a deal. There's no doubt about that. So let's dive straight into it. Thank you so much for coming. I think what we will do is we will start with ladies first. Alessandra, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
If you could explain how the attitude and the outlook of the Italian government is changing to prioritize tourism.
Well, first of all, thank you for having us, and thanks for everybody for attending. I really hope you're going to think it's worth it. I'm actually here representing what is actually a big change, because in the last few years, since tourism has been embedded in the Ministry of Culture, so we became the T at the end of our acronym. So it's the entity, the government is called MIBACT. The attitude towards tourism has completely changed in the sense that the governance put a big attention, first of all, on the dialogue between public and private, because we do think that what is fundamental in the development of a sector is that public and private have a very healthy cooperation. So what we've done, and this is my second year actually representing the progress of this dialogue, is we basically put together all the stakeholders and we initiated a conversation. That conversation led to the writing of a national strategic plan for tourism, probably first ever in the way that it was done. And it was the very peculiar thing, it was done on a listening mode. So it wasn't a top-down approach, it was a bottom-up, top-down, lateral, so we really tried to encompass anything and everything that was there in tourism. And we did come out with a quite interesting document. Of course, any strategic plan needs the second phase, which is how and when.
Somebody actually has to do the work.
Absolutely, as you get into the operation phase. So bear in mind that for Italy, I'm sure many of you are familiar with that, the regions have, by constitution, independence in drafting their own tourism policy. Therefore, what the top ministry can do is just give guidelines that we're hoping are going to be followed. Nevertheless, our experience is that the regions are very happy in cooperating when there's a strong, competent center. So we became healthy interlocutors for everybody, and now we are in the process of actually initiating the application of the operational lines that I was approaching. The main areas where we're actually operating is the area of transport, and we've done agreements with several entities, starting from the Ministry of Transport. Communication, because we believe in digital, and we believe that the digitalization has to be substantial and concrete and real. And all the other entities and pieces of government involved, because we do think that tourism is this incredibly powerful, positive force that crosses over all the sector of our life. So this is where we need to
Well, officially
operate.
it's 11% of GDP in Italy, right? But I mean, it must be twice that, right?
Yeah.
If you take into account.
I totally agree with you. And
yeah.
it's over 12% of employment. And at the moment, with the rate of unemployment that we have in Italy and in Europe, it's very important to look at tourism also as a way of generating jobs.
Which is also a fantastic entry-level job for people with no qualifications, right? So it's super important. So do you think that we're likely to see a change that that tourism itself, rather than being embedded in another ministry, might be given its own mandate as a ministry? Do you think that might change?
That's a very difficult question at the moment.
It's a very easy question.
No, because I'm probably not in the position to answer that. I can tell you what, it could be a great step forward.
Yeah.
But as always, it matters not, it's not the form that matters, it's the substance, it's how things are done.
Sure.
So whatever is important, that we keep the quality of the work and the people that are engaged in this high. This is what's important.
Fantastic. Okay, let me move on to Giorgio, who I know that you've been looking forward to this tremendously. From the Hotel Association point of view, what do you think is going to be a specific benefit of this new initiative?
Good morning, everyone. I think it's. I remember when I came the first time in Berlin 5 years ago, thanks to Marco Malacrida. And when I came here, I saw that nobody talked about Italy, and I saw that the problem is what everyone was worried about the bureaucracy in Italy, and that's why we create this virtual brand, Italia Hospitality, just to show that public and private can work together. And only if we work together, we can show that there are huge opportunities in our countries. And so, as the president of the Italian Hotel Association, Confindustria Alberghi, we represent more or less 2,500 hotels in Italy, especially belonging to upper upscale and luxury segments, and about 5 billion euros, about 170,000 rooms. And we see that there are large opportunities to invest, and the number and the volume of transaction in Italy is really very, very small compared to other countries. But it's very interesting to show that, to know that 2017 was important, because also because we had very good results in terms of tourism, in terms of number of guests, especially coming from foreign. We are about at 50% of foreign guests coming in our hotels. But it's very interesting to show that in 2017, the volume of transaction is double compared to 5 years before. And as we showed during a meeting we made in the University of Bocconi, Milano, 2 weeks ago, there are in the pipeline, there are about 12,000 rooms involved by greenfield branding or rebranding projects. So that's why I think that it's very important to work together and to show that you have investors have to invest in our country, because as you say, now we are about at 11% of GDP.
Yeah.
I am sure that we can reach 20% in 2-3 years.
And from a development point of view, Italy is still very unbranded. I mean, not just international brands. It always strikes me as very odd that for a country that has such fantastic levels of hospitality and has such a fantastic tourism profile globally, there aren't, 3 or 4 Italian Marriotts or Italian Hiltons. We should need to be better at taking that uniquely Italian product and exporting that as well, rather than just inviting Italian international brands.
I agree with you. It's sure that in Italy, the hotel chains represent only 4.5% of the hotel of the 34,000 hotels we have in Italy. But it's interesting to know that to show that in this 4.5% of the hotel chains, we represent 51% of the 5-star hotels.
Yeah.
And that's why I think that also many independent hotels in Italy are studying different kind of partnership with international or national brands and to affiliate in order to have more possibility to promote their hotels all over the world.
I think you're absolutely correct, though. I think to a large extent it feels that Italy has been taken for granted, that it's this huge tourism market, that they get so many people because they have so many amazing things to see. We don't need to worry about them. They're doing their own thing. But I think that, fundamentally needs to change. Now, obviously, a very important piece of this is the financial support that the industry is going to receive from the investment community. And I believe that is changing as well. So could we please put up the financial slides? We have a couple of financial slides because Marco very bravely said that he would talk us through it. But I thought that maybe we could actually have something to look at, frankly, because otherwise we'll be lost very deeply in the weeds. But while we do that, Marco, why don't you explain to us what has changed in terms of why now, and why this fund was set up?
Let me say what CDP is, because CDP is the KfW in Italy, is the CDC in Italy, if you prefer. So it's a huge company. It's owned by the government, something like 400 billion euro total assets. So it's a very important entity in Italy. We are a national promotional institution in the country, and we are the enter point for the Juncker plan in Italy. So this makes our company very, very crucial in terms of growth of the country. Of course, we work only with in order to enhance the Italian system. And what is very particular is that we didn't cope with real estate until 2010. So we started to cope with real estate in 2010. Myself, I am a general manager of the company who deals with real estate in CDP.
But up until now, that was being purely commercial and retail.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Only, yeah. And we started to deal with tourism only 2 years ago. We started to understand that tourism is crucial for the Italian system. And that's why...
See, ladies and gentlemen, the banking community gets there in the end.
Well, we don't belong to the banking community. We are something different, even though we work somehow like banks do.
Sure.
But we are not part of the banking system.
So this fund, so you're dealing in commercial real estate.
Okay, let's talk about the fund. If the slide is that one, I will help myself with okay.
Yes.
So we started to, the idea is to enhance the separation between OpCos and PropCos. We want to be the real estate partners for management companies in the hospitality sector. That means that we are making some well, the fund is funded by CDP. We are planning to place the fund to the market in the next weeks. We have a target of 500 million euros in terms of equity to be invested in this particular program. We already actually carried out some investments. 5 hotels have been acquired, and we have a pipeline of other 5 hotels for a total amount of, let's say, 200 million euros. I understand it's a small number if we compare it to what the numbers are shown in this or in this forum. But they are not, let's say, important in terms of visibility and in terms of message that we want to.
It's 500 million more than there was 2 years ago. So,
course.
you know, let's be grateful for that.
I'm
so
grateful, this is
yeah,
interesting.
so the idea is this is almost a test to a certain extent. So if this is successful, so in many ways what you're doing is what you're doing that a large bulk of the branded hotel community did maybe 15 or 20 years ago, which was allow them to grow with an asset-light strategy that would invest on, for those guys, it's a sort of risk management element, right? So if they can concentrate on new development with equity provided by you.
Yeah, this is the point. We act in 2 ways, basically. We can make sale and leasebacks with operators that we like, because we deal with real estate, but we want to enhance operators. This is the particular thing. The operators are crucial in our due diligence, of course. So we make sales and leasebacks, but we can also buy properties for operators that we like, managers that we like. So sometimes we look at new investments together with operators when the sellers are normally families, because there are 34,000 hotels, and the owners could be something like 25,000 in Italy, you know. So we want to reduce that number and increase the number of chains in Italy. Possibly Italian chains, but this is the target.
Giorgio has to deal with 2,500 families in his association.
Yes.
Giorgio, how you have any hair left at all is remarkable. Could we put the next slide up as well? Because I think the next slide shows what you do and what you don't do.
Oh.
Or the next, there we go, investment criteria. Should we just discuss that slightly?
Okay, if you want.
Yeah.
Well, we invest in city hotels, but also in leisure resorts. We want to, this is a core investment. We want to, for our investors to give a dividend yield product. So we don't make developments. We can invest in properties that need refurbishment, but they need to be already hotels. This is very crucial and very important. So we don't invest in greenfield developments. We don't invest we only make leases because we are not allowed to make managements. We don't want to deal with the operations.
Very sensible.
Yes, of course. So this is the fund that we are placing on the market so far. It's one of the funds because the platform. Can you go to the previous slide?
Can we go back to the previous slide?
Yes, please. So you can see that CDP put 250 million in the FIT, which is Fondo Investimenti per il Turismo in Italian. We are looking for other investors. And the first fund, the number one, is the FT1, which is the fund that we are placing now. We can act in another way with other investors that are interested in maybe in portfolios, specific portfolios. And so we are prepared to take minorities in other funds which can be managed by us, but also by other SGRs in the country. So we can do that also. So if there are international investors that need a partner, a financial partner in Italy, in order to make investments in leisure, this could be an idea. We already experimented something like that with American investors in Italy, and so we are prepared also to be by minorities with international partners.
So you're very flexible. When do you expect this fund to be active? When do you start?
Well, the fund is already active,
okay,
because we are already investing. So we decided to put the money first and to start with the pipeline, to make the first investments in order to be, I would say, credible.
Credible, yes.
Yes,
yep.
also in the market, and to increase the capacity of the fund with the money coming from other Italian or international investors.
So if you know any Italian hotel owners who've recently bought a Lamborghini or a helicopter, then I think we can know that they have been recipient of your kind investment.
Okay. Of course, the idea is to give the money to them in order to increase the number of hotels that they manage.
So conditional.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely conditional.
Disappointing.
Yeah. No Lamborghinis and no helicopters.
No. We need to dangle the Lamborghinis in front of them as an incentive. Maybe if you buy 10 new hotels, you get a Lamborghini. Anyway, we can talk about that later. So.
Okay. So if you go to the other side again.
Okay. Go back to the next slide. You're doing an excellent job there, by the way, between the two slides. Well done.
Okay, so this particular fund is investing. We buy properties. We deal with hotel operators. As I said, that's the crucial part of our due diligence. And we are aiming to have new institutional investors. This is... I could say a lot of things, but I think that...
Well, save it. We'll come back. We'll come back to you for sure. We'll come back to you. Let me just... Claudio, you're sitting there at the end in a stoic, handsome Italian way. Let me bring you in. So one of the issues... So I think, when you look at Italy from an external investor point of view, you have very low number of branded hotels. You have very low number of international players. You've had traditionally low transactional levels. The attitude that people looking externally might have been is that, going into Italy might have been difficult. So that's really a sort of falls squarely under your shoulders. How are you making it less difficult for investors and owners?
Well, first of all, good afternoon, everybody. James, this is quite a tough question. Clearly, Italy is underestimated in terms of revenues for tourism and investment in real estate and tourism. This is the state of the art. We are all very aware of that. Let me say that back a couple of years ago, the whole Italian government, the several ministries, agencies, institutions, we confronted this issue and tried to solve by creating a strong teamwork. Everybody has special dedicated people to take care of that. Specifically, in our agency, the Italian Trade and Investment Agency, we are from the Italian government under the umbrella of the Ministry of Economic Development. We have recently created this department, which I represent here, to attract and support foreign investors in Italy. Not just real estate, not just tourism, but here, let me focus about tourism and real estate. So basically what we do, first of all, I'd like you to know that we have 80 offices all over the world. We have 10 desks, FDI desks all over the world. We have a website, which I will show you later, that collects the demands and the offer by joining all the offers from the different institutions, such as Cassa Depositi and Prestiti, Demanio. Everybody, it fits in that real estate, the website of real estate that has a very high level of success in terms of visitors. We have more than 200,000 visitors in the last couple of years, so it's quite big. But beyond that, we have the people, we have the men. So we have an office with in Rome, in our headquarters, with a team of 12 specialists. Everybody of them is extremely skilled in a specific sector, such as the visa, the incentives, the location, the real estate, the relocating for expats, for example. We try to gather all the questions that an investors may ask to us. So we liaise with an investor. We try to understand what they really want. Then we try to understand how we can help. We have a face-to-face conversation. Either I go and meet them, or we have a phone call, or we have a conversation. We try to understand, to let them understand that we are there to help them. We are open for business, as you said, and we are kind of a face where they can refer to. They know who they're talking to, and they know what we can do for them. So after we have analyzed which is the demand, which is the request, we try to liaise with the different entities, all the stakeholders that might be involved, central government, region, municipality, quite hard,
yeah.
and the infrastructure system, the association of categories. So we try to put all together and deliver to the investor a solid answer and a solid proposal. Then
I think the fewer entities that the investor has to speak to, the better.
That's why we after a
yeah.
certain moment we step back. Of course, we don't enter into direct negotiation. But after the deal is done, we step in again in order to provide aftercare support. In order we regularly check whether how the investment is going. Is there any red tape, as you mentioned? We try to solve it. Just a very quick example. If I'm not running out of time, but. We were dealing recently with an investor who wanted to open a beauty clinic in Italy. So he explained to us which was his he didn't know much about it. I mean, the sun, people stand, they like to go outdoors. So
but Italians are naturally beautiful. They don't need any external help.
It is for tourists.
It's for tourists. Oh, well, in that case,
Italy,
fine. In the English in particular.
It's for tourists. Right, anyway, okay. So he knew that it could be a very potential market, but he didn't know where to go. So I asked him, what do you need? You want a big city, a second-tier city? What kind of income the average client might have? So we tried to analyze which was the perfect location. We provide him, we discussed with several regions, and we gave him 4 possible locations. Each location gave to him a certain number of real estate opportunities, some already available to be used as a clinic, some other whose destination should be changed. And now he's in the process. In 1 week, he knows where to go and which location he can use it. Then it's up to him to decide where to go.
So your agency basically did almost like a feasibility study or a market study?
More a market study. Feasibility, right. At the moment, we do not enter into the financial issues.
That's our job, Claudio.
Should be, yeah.
But just be a little careful there, my friend.
We try to say in a very simplistic way, if you want to open your clinic, here is the place, here is the location. You can go ahead now. So basically, that's what we do. And then, very importantly, we do the aftercare. So after the investment has been is in progress, we try to understand where and whether we can even support. They want to grow bigger. They want they need to train staff, for example. They need to liaise with a specific government because it's not opening a road. It happens. There's a vast, huge shopping center that has been delayed so far because they need to have 700 meters of public road to be open, 700 meters from here to there. And we're still trying to convince.
I'm shocked, Claudio. Are you sure that's the problem?
Yeah. It's one of the problems. So we try to solve all the infinite, I would say, layers that we have in our administration to facilitate investment.
Okay, so Claudio has some discount vouchers for the beauty shop. So if anybody wants any of those afterwards, then you're going to have to fight me for them. Okay, so we have the political situation, we have the financial situation, we have the rules and regulations situation. What we need, maybe a missing piece of the puzzle, is we have the investment opportunities, and which brings me on to our last speaker. Mr. De Vito, who represents the Italian Railway Association. Can we go on to the one slide? And so, in Italy, the opportunity, I think, in this instance is twofold. We have the existing hotels, very much members of Giorgio, who are looking to either release equity and grow, or are looking for foreign investors to come and buy. And then you have on the development side, you have the opportunities that you present. Would you like to explain to us?
Thank you. Thank you, James. This morning I have a thought. Why I am here? Real estate
me too.
But in the context, I apologize for my English. It's bad English, but I apologize to everyone. The first thing is we have shows for the figure of CEO. The new CEO of my company is Gianfranco Battisti, that is the president of Federturismo, the Confederation of Tourism in Italy. It's the first thing. I am here to represent also Battisti. But the second time, I have asked to James to show only one slide. This is the one slide. It's important. And the communication that I want to do is in order to what is happening and what will happen in Europe and in Italy. This is the picture that shows the European corridor that involved also England.
For now.
We'll
have to change them up because we're dragging England 1,000 miles
you can see
to the west.
On the right.
Bravo. And is that a high-speed network or is that the
corridor?
The corridor. Okay, we'll call it a corridor.
And low speed.
Okay.
Speed.
It's moving.
Rate define the priority of the relies this. And you can see that all Europe will be connected in the 2030. Will be connected by the priority corridor, are 10 priority corridors. 4 of this corridor will interest Italy, and you can see in the other figure on the left of the picture what is happened already for 60%, and what will happen in the next year, in the next future for Italy. What happened? Happened that we have the connection of Europe and of the city of Italy. And the railway will become the underground of Italy. We have this phenomenon that the Italians that are represented here can know. Each city of Italy, big city or low city, is connected with this network. We, in this moment, have made the connection of a big part of important Italy, from in the north and in the south until Salerno, Napoli, Salerno in the north. This connection, I have to speak always of a fundamental book that is a connectography of Parga Khan, that is an Indian young thinker, that in the future the connection is important to have the vision of the world, because all that is your interest in the hotel is for business and for tourism.
Sure.
But tourism and the business is for tourism and business is important. The connection is important.
Got to get them there.
The network that we are realizing, and so we have this case of Italy, the most important touristic city of Ity.
So how much are you investing in the high-speed network?
Italy, with the European fund, about 60 billion of euro. But we continue until the south, until Malta, to connect to everyone. Also Malta is connected, is an European confederation. But also England. I show you. You are connected with Paris by the high speed.
That's right, yes, the
St.
Eurostar.
Pancras, King Cross,
Yes.
with the station of Paris. And you have the development, the real estate development of St. Pancras.
It's amazing,
or
fantastic.
Stanford.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
Yeah.
You have the necessity to have the connection to develop your business, your hotel develop in all over. And so we have this realized in Italy, the connection of the 3 important touristic cities, Rome, Florence, and Venice. About 1 or 2 hours Florence.
So are there in those cities, are there locations for
this
development?
Is the optimal, come si dice,
Optimal place?
location, because the golden rules, the golden rules of the real estate, you know, is a location, location, and location, the three words, famous three words. We have the location. And so in each city of the network, we have opportunities. We have possibility to develop, not what search my friend. We have sell already our building, but the opportunities to develop new business in the city, in the station. The same thing is happening in England, in Germany, and in France. We have the principal chain of hotels that have side the location of their activities are in the station, near the station.
So how can people?
But I want another thing I have to show that is also in the law. In the low speediness,
yeah.
In the low speed, we have opportunities. We have the train, the touristic train. Maybe in Sicily, we have Sicily. It is a fantastic, historical, touristical, with everything. We have the train, the Baroque train that connects the 9 cities of the Sicily. That is an opportunity to develop other level of hotel, surely hotel and so we with this way to consider our partner in this table, we participate to the panel of the tourism. This is the answer to my question in this morning.
Why are you here? That
Why?
question? That question? Yes.
We participated to this panel with this solution, this way, this vision of the city. And we participated in this moment, but also in the past, with the city to develop their vision. And the new vision of the city is connected with the vision of the mobility. It is important for us to have a platform, to have a base made by the infrastructure, and on the infrastructure we have to think to the future of the city. And the future of the city, there is the competition on the base of the tourism, on the base of the business, on the base of other base, but always is important to have the relation, to have the connection from city to city.
That's fantastic. That was a 3-hour presentation in 10 minutes. I think that was impressive. Very, very impressive. Thank you. Now, it would be remiss of me not to ask you, as we have 5 people here, salaries probably in the millions of euros. Now is an opportunity to sorry. No, so now is an opportunity to, if anybody has any questions, then this is usually. Oh, really? Are they? I'm surprised. There's normally are they good questions? Anyway, it doesn't matter. There are questions. Okay, are you ready? Okay.
We don't know.
There we are. Ladies first.
Thank you. So when do you think the Italian banks are going to get rid of all their distressed assets so everyone can buy them?
Is that a question to me?
You're the money guy. But nobody works here for those banks, so you can give your opinion.
No, I think that banks are starting to put distressed assets on the market, and so it is true that there has been, let's say, a prudent way to deal with NPLs, but I think that the market is currently opening up. Yeah.
James can also add up and give the lady an answer. Sorry, may I know what's your name?
Sorry, Catherine Joggle from Motor Analyst.
Oh, all right. Lovely to meet you. I would like to add one thing about banks, which I think is very relevant. With the DG Tourism, we've recently signed a 3-year plan for Tourism 4.0, and it's based on preferential credit lines for anybody, SMEs, even physical people that want to initiate activities in tourism, devoted also to web development, digitalization, and devoted to training. So what we've done for the first time, we sat together as government with probably the #1 commercial bank in Italy, and they agreed to sort of give a very dedicated attention to whatever tourism initiatives can be undertaken from the private sector. And I think, going back to the beginning, this is exactly what we need to do in this moment. Like, continue, planting the seeds and watering so that it becomes a very healthy plant, the relationship between private and public.
You got some gardening advice there as well at the end, which I think
Well,
is very important. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's why I said it.
British approach, probably?
Yes, I think
know
so,
that gardening
yeah.
is always sexy in England.
Well, when you live in a country that rains so much, you don't really have much of a choice. So,
I also have a question for Marco. The initial yield requirements for your fund. Can you elaborate?
Sorry?
What's the initial yield requirement for
Yield.
your fund?
We want to give, the target is to give 4.5% of dividend yield, because this is a dividend yield-driven fund. I think that the total IRR could be between 5 and 6%, with very low leverage. So in terms of, let's say, 20 to 30% of leverage. So it want to be a low-risk investment.
yeah. Does anyone else have any questions? There we are, at the back. This is probably a where do you get your suits question.
My experience of doing business in Italy is the opaque nature of so much of the information.
Can't really hear that. Can you say your name, please? It would be very helpful to know what we're talking to. Thanks.
My name is David Arbuckle. I've been doing business in Italy for many years, and my experience is that the problems you're talking about, bureaucracy, are not so important as the opaque nature of the information that should be transparent and in the market. And the question I would ask, what are you as government representatives going to do in order to make general information far more available than it is at the present time?
Can I say something? Yeah, exactly going against this opacity you were mentioning, which, I mean, the term perhaps is to be a little bit more smooth, but that's why we put public on different websites, and our website, which I mentioned before, all the offer which is on the market. Of course, we do not collect everything because we cannot go home by home to search which is available to be invested, but we have a vast range of opportunities from railway system, from Cassa Depositi e Prestiti, from the hotel association, from private owners. Everybody's there. Just go and have a look.
I think it's an important point, and I think obviously, if we were looking at other countries, we would say that transparency of information is absolutely key for foreign investment to create trust and security. But I think the willing is there to open that up. With so many independent hotels, it becomes more of a challenge. But Marco?
Well, what I can say is that the real estate market has been growing very much in terms of transparency in the last 15 years.
Right.
Because, the system of real estate funds was created in early 2000, so let's say 18 years ago. As the real estate funds are obliged to be compliant with a certain number of rules, that moved into a very transparent market. So, we had 2 billion euros of transactions in Italy, most of those of real estate, generally real estate, not only hotels. A lot of transactions were done with international institutions, so that means that there is sufficient transparency in order to invest in Italy. This is what is my feeling. What I can say is that we act exactly like the institutions, the international institutions do all over the world, even though we belong to the government.
Okay, fantastic. You had a question?
My name is Angel. Does it work? Yes. Yeah. My name is Angel Palomino. I represent Azora. Through Azora, we have today 62 hotels, 14,500 rooms, and we are the largest hotel operator, or hotel owner, excuse me, in Spain and probably in the Mediterranean coastline. We have been following Italy since a number of years, and I have to agree with the comment of the lack of transparency in the market, plus two barrier entries that we have found there. One of them is the diversity of politics in different cities, about moratorias, about by the local government, and not only that, by the local hotel associations, that creates a corporate strength to avoid the entry of foreign investors in the cities. Is there a way to try to sort these barriers?
Oh, I know this is a problem, but as a railway company, we can offer so not only the land to develop our land, but also the partnership to help the operator to have the just meet with the local and the national administrator. So for us is the question to your position.
Alessandro, how do we fix this?
All right.
We just so you know, the hotel closes at 10 tonight.
No, but the thing is, you see, this is what's very interesting. I don't think the role of the public sector has to be to, give you immediate solutions like on a plate. What we're doing here, and what we've been doing, and believe me, it's a huge change from the past. We're really trying hard to get together all the elements that would allow us to improve. It's not easy. As I said in the beginning, according to Title V of our Constitution, each region has a possibility of defining their independent tourism policy, and not only that. So, but what we're trying to do, and what, believe me, they understand it's useful, is that we got to work together. Because there's no, what you perceive as a little bit of reluctance of letting foreigners in is probably true. I guess it believes it happens in many other countries.
Not in England. We love them. Yeah. Just want to put that on the record.
But you see, that's the thing. But look, James, we're Mediterranean, so we have to do that. It's an instinct to protect, it's an instinct. No, but really and truly, I mean, we're working hard towards, reaching a very, a more acceptable position for any foreign investor. Now, let me tell you one thing. Bureaucracy is a problem not only for foreign investors. It's a problem for the private sector in Italy. It's a problem for our SMEs. The taxation is a nightmare for our SMEs. So what you are, defining as, lack of transparency, and especially like the differences between municipality, region, is a problem that, our national operators have. So there is, believe me, there is an overall effort from public and private sector, even though there's a little bit of a change happened in the last 48 hours, that is leading exactly into that direction. But to rely on us, we're here for a reason. So we're an open listening center.
Giorgio.
And I can assure you that it's not a barrier to block foreign investor, foreign operator to come in Italy, because we have the same problem as Italian. But we are working hard with regions and with the minister, because I understand it's very difficult to work with 22 different classification of rooms, because our laws, it's
almost the same problem in Spain.
Yes, I know.
This is not new to me. What is new to me is the fact that, as I said before, in some cases, I don't know whether this has changed recently, let's speak of a city like Florence. Any entrance has to be approved by the hotel association.
Yes.
So,
unfortunately, there are more. There is not only one association, hotel association in Italy, but about Confindustria Bank, I can assure that we are open-minded, and we are working just to let operator come to Italy, working with us. Huh?
So we have unfortunately run out of time. I think just to sum up, and as I said at the beginning, the final thought that I would love you to leave here with is that Attitudes in Italy are changing. They're changing very quickly, as you can see here. And I urge you, after this presentation is finished, to go and find somebody and speak to them about specific issues you're having or opportunities, because they're here all day. That's why they're here. And that Italy is very much open for investment. I would like to thank all of these guys who've come along here and they've taken their time and their effort to come and explain to us how things are changing. So please show your warm appreciation for my panel, who've been great fun.